Okay, it's about 11:33 Mountain Time. We're going to get started here now that a few people are joining. If you're late, don't worry, you didn't miss anything, and we're going to, this will be posted on YouTube. It's actually on YouTube Live right now. So welcome to the third MRA Mapping Hangout. It is April 12th, 2016. I am joined here with Kayla Beatty from Antris. We're going to hear a little bit more from Kayla at the end of our presentation. And Kayla is the founder and president of Antris, and Antris is going to be very interesting for those of you that are into preventative search and rescue, or even want to enable some accountability and tracking for your teams in the field. To start, just to review our mission here with the MRA Mapping Hangouts, we all know that search and rescue is an inherently spatial problem, especially in the locate or a missing person search operation phase. And what we're trying to do here is to begin collecting mission data for our entire organization and begin to explore other possibilities. And we're doing this through the MRA mission mapping platform. This is our third mapping hangout of the year. And we're going to start with a quick update of the 2016 mission data portal. We're going to talk a little bit about what's new on the mapping portal. And then we'll have a special topic at the end about preventative search and rescue and a new technology called Antris. Last month, if you missed it, the recording is live on the G+ page. And we talked a lot about cell phones and GPS, and even a free app that you can use to text to a potential victim. And if they receive that text and click on the link, it'll display their coordinates and even give you a map of where the phone thinks they are. So if you haven't seen that, please go back and check out that recording. Okay, so the MRA mapping portal, for those of you that don't know, is ArcGIS Online, configured for the Mountain Rescue Association. And that is a premium mapping portal that allows us to collect mission data and a whole lot more. From the MRA mapping portal page, you can enter new missions using something called the GeoForm. And this allows you to collect mission information and plot it on a map, which is very simple. But what that allows us to do is track MRA mission data in real time through this dashboard. So we'll go ahead and take a look. It looks like 159 missions have been entered for the year. And if you take a look at last year's stats, we're a bit behind in data collection. Just in January alone, there were 120 missions last year. We're now in March, so it seems like maybe a lot of people are waiting until it gets busy or towards the end of the year to collect mission data. But I highly suggest you don't wait until the end of the year. So I can see here who's been logging in, maybe 20, 25 teams, I think, have logged in this month. So if we go back to our portal, again, this is where we're entering our mission data, and it feeds this dashboard, which you see here, which is live. So if someone's to enter a new mission right now, the numbers will change and our statistics will change. Okay, so on the dashboard on the left, what you'll see is the most recent missions on the top. And it does look like someone just entered a new mission. We're at 160. And a quick summary statistic, 160 missions, and so far there's been 10 missing person searches where the person's been found. If we click over here, we can see the most recent entry was by the Hood River Crag Rats. And it was a rescue, and it looks like a cell phone GPS coordinates were used for that rescue. As we scroll through the different tabs, we can actually take a look at the types of missions that we're responding to, the number of volunteer hours, and the overall number of people rescued. And then finally, we can get a breakdown of the top 10 or so teams. Looks like Rocky Mountain Rescue Group has already responded to and entered data for 28 missions. So that's just a quick recap of where we're at with mission data collection this year. Once again, Myself and Monty Bell from the MRA encourage you, do not wait until the end of the year to enter your data. Please try to enter it in as soon as you can so that the information is fresh and we get live data on our dashboard. If you take a look at the home page, you'll notice maybe some things have changed. So this is just when you sign into ArcGIS Online with your MRA credentials. You'll see here in our little gallery, I have a map of the month. A few people were interested in learning a little bit more about where there is wireless coverage in the US, so I've posted that map. And you'll also notice that we've added a third tutorial. So in the first month, we discussed how to make a public map from the 2015 data. And then tutorial 2 is really an overview of how to enter and edit data in the 2016 mission data portal. And then finally, you can click on the link for tutorial 3, which is called Map Your GPS Data and Elevation Profile. So this GPS data tutorial is really simple. It just walks you through adding a GPX file to a map and then quickly making an application that you can share with other people. That shows you a elevation profile of a track. So here I took some sample data from a hike over a Half Dome in Yosemite National Park. And what that does is it puts the track on a map, but it does more than that. It creates an intelligent application that allows us to see both our hike on a map in the 2D space, but also allows us to visualize our trek in the 3D space by using the digital elevation model for that area. So you can see starting here at 4,000 feet, and we can follow our trek up and to the top of the Half Dome closer to 9,000 feet. It's a really simple application to design, and if you haven't made a web mapping application before, this is a really easy one to start with. So I encourage you to check out that tutorial. When you're done making your map, you can simply share the URL if you make it public, or within the organization if you choose to keep it private. Next on our list for what's new is the map of the month. And this is a map of estimated wireless coverage from the National Broadband Map. So I found this on ArcGIS Online within the web map viewer simply by searching. And I found someone had contributed this map, which I believe was updated earlier this year. So this is a web app, again, of estimated coverage, and you can find more information about this layer by clicking on the About page. But if we're to zoom into an area, the areas where you do not see blue is where, based on the National Broadband Map, there is little or no coverage. And I encourage everybody to take a look at this map and test it out and see if it's accurate for your area. And as you know, you can make your own maps and perhaps put in little notes about where there is and where there is not coverage for your area. So that's this month's map of the month. If anyone has suggestions or a topic they'd like to see for the map of the month for May, please let me know. Send an email to the mramapping@gmail.com. Finally, I want to let you know, for all of you with an MRA login, you're now a member of a group called the MRA Mapping Hangout group. You can access by clicking the Groups tab anywhere in ArcGIS Online. And this is where all the tutorials and the maps of the month and other things, including the link to the Antris app, will be posted in this group. Finally, I wanted to let you know there's a new resource out there. It's called the ArcGIS book. And this book walks you through the very basics of what GIS is and also how to use ArcGIS Online. It has some free tutorials and videos and really just some interesting maps. So for those of you who have a little bit of spare time, this is a great free training that you can access. If you just type in the Google search, the ArcGIS book, it should take you here. You can also download it as a PDF, and I believe there's print copies available at most of the Esri conferences. So that leads us to today. Our special topic is really preventative search and rescue outreach, or PSAR, and I know many of the teams are involved in doing some proactive search and rescue. And I began working with Antris quite a long time ago when they first got started, and I'm really excited to see all the developments they've made. So what I'm going to do now is just check to make sure the Hangout's still running. It looks like it is. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And whenever Kayla's ready, she will share her screen and go ahead and speak up.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for taking your time to meet with us today. I'm going to share my screen here. Now I'm on a fancy Mac, so I'm going to swipe back and forth here to what I'm showing you. So as Paul mentioned, we've worked together for probably about 3 years now. Antris is a preventative search and rescue application that we've been putting together. And the idea behind it is you could create a route with the departure points, arrival points, check-ins along the way. And if you don't check in safely, then a loved one can get a text and email notification that something's gone wrong with all the details of your plan. So I'm going to go through actually just an online demo of how it works. So we're a small startup team, and we're pretty agile, and we're really looking for input on what we've created so far. Paul's been amazing over the last 3 days, and he's beaten it to death. And actually, one of the things we're created for him is a parks mode, basically, so that the app recognizes that you're not trying to route on a street and you're trying to route in a park. So for Paul's birthday, we've got that launched on our dev sites, ready to go to the Google Store and the Apple stores next week. And the other neat piece of information I'm excited to share is we have just partnered with PSAR. So been working closely with Paul and Chris to sort of get a package combined here that will be useful to all the individuals from that group. So I'm just going to log over to my browser here, and I will just run you through how a plan works for creating a trip plan. Just like Facebook, the Antris solution is multi-platform, so you can log in from your mobile app or from the website, and you can create a route. So this is a route that was actually created on the mobile plan and that I've moved over to the website just to show you the layout of it. So it's called my hike plan and my activity. And then what I've done is on the mobile app, which I can actually show you quickly here, I have pin dropped the locations I'm going to check into in my park. So as I drop these pins, I've indicated what time I'm going to arrive at them so that the system knows when to expect to check in. So as I pin drop those, we go over to the mobile platform and we can see it's documented all the intended destination points by long lats because they don't actually have physical address names. So all those checkpoints will have check-in times at what's indicated on here. So what happens at the beginning of my plan when I depart is my personal contact, who's Paul, is going to get a text and email with the plan information saying I've departed, and he'll be updated in real time if anything goes wrong. So at check-in times, like for example 1:30, I'm actually going to get a text message to remind me that it's time to check in on this checkpoint. So you can actually text back on text message if you'd like. The only difference between checking in on text message and checking in on the mobile app is the check-in button on the mobile app will send your GPS coordinates along with it. But you can check in safely on the mobile app by texting back your 4-digit PIN. Safe, you can check in safely, you can change your checkpoint time, you can deactivate your plan, or you can do a user-initiated SOS. And we've done the texting platform, as many of you know, when you're out in some of the rural areas, loading a mobile app is not as functional as just sending back a text message. So we recognize that, and we have both platforms available for that. So those checkpoints are now indicated for intended destination points. And at the check-in times, for example, 2:30, I'm going to get a text message at 2:30 and an email reminding me to check in. If the user does not check in at that point, 10 minutes later, they're going to get another text message. 5 minutes after that, my automated Antris voice call system will call their cell phone, prompting for a safe check-in. And another 5-minute period passes, so it's a total of 20 minutes. And then it initiates an emergency status, and it alerts the personal contacts. So the next section is about who's going to respond to this plan if it goes into an emergency status. So I've chosen that it will be a personal contact, and today it's Paul, because it's his birthday. He gets to come save me up here in Canada if something goes wrong. So he will get a text and email. The text looks like this. So it's a plan summary. As I mentioned, the routing's new, so we haven't put the routing on the track dash of the plan summary, but that will be there next week. That will look just like the mobile app. And this is going to now send Paul all my information for this plan. So any of the contacts that are on here, all my intended destination points, my personal, medical, and vehicle information. You can also capture vessel. So this will be shared at Paul at the beginning of my plan. But again, if I go into an emergency, it will tell us which point is an emergency by the legend, and he will have all the updated information of what's going on with me. So attached to this plan, I have filled out a personal medical information. From the Antris' perspective, this is all optional information. However, as you can imagine, the more you save here in times of an emergency, the search and rescue teams will be thrilled to know any of this information. I'm going to go ahead and check in because I'm getting an alert here that I'm due for one. And the next section on the plan is about transportation. So again, I can capture personal vehicle information or a vessel information about what I'm traveling in. The neat part about the vehicles is that we can capture mileage based on these vehicles when you're in an organization mode. So if you're needing to track mileage, that's a great way to do it based on the route that they're traveling that day. So if it's not just hiking and it's also driving. The companion section allows me to say who I'm going on my hike with, because now you know there's 2 people out on this hike and not just one that might be in trouble. If there's important medical information for the companions, we can also add it to the notes. And then we have the equipment section. So any type of communication or audible distress signals or other supplies that are being carried for that hike plan, you can add them into this section here. So all that gets saved and sent out to the personal contacts at time of an emergency. Again, they'll get notification and can take that plan summary and decide what to do with it. So that's the individual sort of user case for Antris. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the organizational functionality that we've created. So now I've logged in from the perspective of a staff member or a coordinator of a team of members. So below we can see all my team. We can see who's out on live plans. The map that you log into shows you the people in the field. So then you can tap on these people and you can see who they are and when they're due back. If you want to see their exact route, we can tap on that and see their route through this park here. Also available in this view is that plan summary. So if you need to access any of that information in real time, it's available to you. And the neat part about this is that if I hit past plans here, it's going to capture every plan that these users ever been completed during this account usage. So on the left here, we can go to report page and we can pull a lot of data about this team and what they've been up to and how many kilometers they've traveled and how many plans they've made for any duration of time that is valuable to know about. All this information can be also exported to a CVS file that can be imported to other platforms if required. We also send out summary emails about usage when you're in the organizational mode, so you can get a monthly report based on how many, this was based on another case, but the idea is how many plans were made, how many went into emergency, who did how many plans that lasted for what duration. You can also create some really great heat maps using the Esri partnership and Esri Arc Online that show all the intended all the locations visited during a certain duration of time. The group's backend is organization. It's customizable to whatever group you're using it for. And the other neat feature we just created in here is a route template. So now I can create a route template and I can assign it to somebody that's going out on a route. So if you are using it in a park and there's a frequent route that's traveled by rangers that need to be kept safe, we can use this here and just assign it to whatever person is going out for that day. So that's sort of the end of the demo. A couple things to mention is we have considered that in these park scenarios, it's a very urban use. And we've created a couple different modes of Antris that will help in these scenarios. So one of them is called a out of range mode. And what that does is it allows people to capture their intended destination points. And it's going to alert them at departure time to remind them to say that they're going. But at checkpoints in between departure and arrival, it's not going to go through the reminder and alert process. So it's not throwing out any false alarms if they don't check into these, because we recognize they might be out of data range. But when we get back to 5, we know we're in data range there, and that's when Antris will prompt them for a safe check-in again. So that's called out of range mode. And we also have done some integrations with Spot and InReach devices. So the OK button on them is programmable, and we can connect that to the Antris account, and you can then check in OK from your satellite GPS devices, and you can also call in from a satellite phone. In the next couple of weeks, we have some really interesting features that are coming. One of them is called emergency tracking. So what we've then recognized is we don't need to live track anyone during this plan, but maybe if they go into an emergency status, they now have the option to turn live tracking on. So once it goes through the escalation process or they hit the SOS button, we can see that I was on a route here for the day, but I got into trouble over here, and then it started live tracking me, and I ended up being at my home. So that will be a significant feature that will be available for in the next couple weeks, along with full live tracking. Now, we know that it drains the battery and that it's not ideal to be using, especially when you're out of range for most of the day, but will be available in cases that might be a valuable add-on. So that's all that I have to share at this point. Is there any questions there, Paul, from anyone that's watching?
Well, one that comes up frequently when I speak with SAR teams is any part of Antris free?
Right. So the individual experience I shared on the website is also available for download with the mobile app in the Apple, Android, and also Google Play stores. And this individual user experience is free. So the paid version is when you're using it with organizations and you have a TrackDash account set up in the back end to monitor staff in real time.
Great. And I've been monitoring the G Plus page. I don't see any questions yet. We do have 9 viewers. But Kayla, as you know, this is a live recording, and it will be posted on YouTube. And, you can either send me questions directly at the mramapping@gmail.com. You can post those to the G Plus page, or Kayla, would you mind sharing your contact information?
I wouldn't mind at all. Let me just get it for you here. I believe it's on here. I just haven't used it before. Yep. So this is also a deck that we will make available that you can sort of flip through and learn more about Antris as well. And there's my contact stuff. I'm happy to answer any questions. Typically, we just have a quick phone call, maybe 10, 15 minutes to understand what you're looking for out of Antris. And then I am happy to do sort of half an hour to 45-minute live demo using a scenario that we understand it would be a workflow for your team. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate Paul inviting me to share this. Well, another thing to mention is we are integrated with ArcGIS Online, so all that routing can also be viewed over on that platform.
Yes, and if anyone's interested in testing that sort of integration with your MRA ArcGIS Online account and Antris, please do contact Kayla. We're always looking for more collaboration between the two platforms, so I'd be really interested to see what you all are interested in.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, we're really agile, and we're looking for feedback on this, positive, constructive criticism, anywhere in between. I'm happy to listen. If you use the app and you recognize spots that don't make sense, or you'd like to see the functionality work in a different way, I am all ears. Our whole team's very interested in any of that type of feedback. We'd also be happy to offer a couple pilots in parks down in the US, because that's something we've been very interested in doing, and we haven't quite got those set up yet.
Great. Well, thank you, Kayla, for your time, and to the Antris team. I think we're going to wrap up for this month. This will be posted, well, it's posted already live. And if you have any questions, please contact us. And I would really like to hear from all of you on what topics you'd like to see discussed next month, or if anyone wants to present anything themselves that has anything to do with maps, we'd love to have you. And if there's no other questions, we will wrap up and say see you next month.
Okay,
Thanks
thanks,
everyone.
Paul.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.